How is citizenship-based taxation moving away from the US? Let's say if Donald Trump wins. Now, he recently hit the headlines when he mentioned that he's going to get rid of the double taxation.
Once and for all, I'm going to end double taxation on our overseas citizens. You've been wanting this for years and nobody has listened to you, and you deserve it. And I'm going to do it.
Is it even possible? And the short answer to that question, in my opinion, is no. And because there's a difference, right? So when he talks about double taxation, that is very different from citizenship-based taxation. There currently are options where there is no double taxation in certain cases. So let's say you're using a tax treaty to nullify or offset. That's one scenario. And the second scenario is the foreign income exclusion. So let's say you move physically outside, you're going to spend most of your time abroad. You aren't going to have any physical connections to the US, of course, other than holding their passport. And there are three locations where you can trigger the tax residency with minimal physical presence. So that is one part of the puzzle. You take care of that scenario. The second major component is how much of residency do you still maintain in the US, right? So double taxation could be avoided. And in the second scenario, there's a lot of foreign income exclusion that you can target. And I'm going to discuss that in a lot of detail. But let's say he wins. There's a lot of compliance requirements and forms in place. There's a full industry that surrounds this, right? The FATCA, the FBAR, and there are a ton of other forms that you have to fill out if you're a US citizen, or if you have a US-based corporation, or if you are a US citizen with a corporation outside. Whatever the case might be, as long as you're a US citizen, you have all those filing, reporting requirements anyways. And regarding the double taxation, there are ways to offset that in some limited capacity even today. When it comes to citizenship-based taxation, there's all of these different filing requirements, and there's a complete industry. There are lawyers and attorneys who specialize in this kind of stuff. So getting rid of those type of requirements, in my opinion, is almost impossible. Again, anything can happen, but the probability or the chances are next to none. So in this video, I'm going to discuss how do you prep. Whether that happens, whether that does not happen is a separate matter. I don't think that's happening in any time soon or ever in future, at least not in the foreseeable future. So you want to have all these options locked, secure. So the moment you make the flip or you flip the switch, the other extreme situation is where you renounce your home country citizenship, and I don't think a lot of people are interested in that. They want to have their birthright solid passport. Other passports that you try tricks and games, all the Caribbean ones, right? Some of the Caribbean ones, you try those tricks and they one by one start losing access here and there, and you're mixed in dirt if they fool around with you. So you want to have your solid citizenship, you want to keep it, but then also you want to trigger all these important vital tax residencies. So let's say you have an online business, it's doing good, you switch it or you move it outside, and you're still looking at gaining some of those same advantages. So what are the different jurisdictions that can be looked at? In my opinion, there are three interesting places that you should at least try and get one in your portfolio. The first one, of course, is the very well-known Dubai option, Dubai Solution, which is through company formation. You form a company, and that company can sponsor you. You apply for the work visa, you get a residency in Dubai, you can open up a company bank account or personal bank account. The fact that you're working for your company can qualify you for the 90 days tax residency, meaning you physically stay there for 90 days, you trigger the tax residency. So this satisfies Dubai's issues, right? They are okay with you being the tax resident. And then after that, in addition to that, then you have to worry about how do you claim yourself a non-resident of US. You'll have to spend your time outside. Either you can spend it in Dubai or somewhere else other than the US. And again, this has to be carefully discussed with a US tax person to make sure you're doing this correctly. But as far as Dubai is concerned, they will award you the tax residency in most cases. So that's one option, and we have one of the fastest processes in Dubai for company formation. So at any point in time you want to get started with this or the other two options that I'm going to discuss, you can always click the link, book a call, we can discuss and get you started with the best option that fits your portfolio. The second on the list that I'd like to talk about is, I think, slightly better than the Dubai solution, because Dubai, you have to do the residency visa, you have to travel there every 6 months to keep it active. With just one additional month of tax residency, which is 4 months, you can trigger the Paraguay solution, right? And we have two excellent attorneys, processors in Paraguay who only take up 2 days of your time inside of Paraguay to get you the residency. And the card is issued a little later. It can be mailed to your home location. If you have missed all the important details regarding how to directly get the permanent residency in Paraguay, you can take a look at this video. This talks about a direct way to get permanent residency. For most of the people, the temporary residency works equally fine. You get the residency, you move there, you spend a certain amount of time, you get the tax residency, so then you take care of one part of the puzzle, and based on your home country you satisfy that separately. Again, when we have that discussion, we can discuss all the specifics of that option. The third on the list is Mauritius, and Mauritius has some unique advantages, and the reason why I am discussing Mauritius is because it has excellent trust protection laws. So a lot of people who are interested in opening trusts look at Mauritius as a good option, because it's a safe place to be. So let's say you're spending a month or two, then Mauritius really makes a lot of sense. It does have the citizenship option towards the end, and there are two ways of qualifying for the Mauritian option. You can directly get the permanent residency in Mauritius. The application fees are only $1,000, and there's another way for rest of people. And if you've missed that video on Mauritius, you can hop onto this one. This talks about how you could gain a temporary or a permanent residency directly in Mauritius, and then of course you are looking at a good citizenship in the Africa eventually. Now there's a fourth option. This is a bonus option, and I'm talking about a direct citizenship purchase, which I rate higher now in 2024 than some of the Caribbean ones. And this is the Vanuatu. They have two options, the coffee fund, the coconut oil fund. There's a minor difference between the two, but there are substantial discounts that are going on. The processing fees are waived with the Vanuatu option. And this one is good because it doesn't have anything to do with those Western forces. The sharing of information, like some of the Caribbean ones, have completely surrendered to the West. So yeah, they call it supreme due diligence, but essentially what they're doing is collecting a lot of bunch of information that they shouldn't be collecting, in my opinion, and they're passing it on to the home countries in different situations. So if you want to deal with none of that and you have a decent passport, or if you're working on those effective, good, strong, solid passports around the globe, then you're going to eventually have a strong passport, and anyone should have a strategy to eventually have a strong passport. You don't normally depend upon these bridge passports or pay for passport scheme passports, because these are not sustainable solutions. But I still feel Vanuatu has an edge because it's not playing around or fooling around with your information. And then the second big advantage is that it's a tax-free country. So let's say you do the exact same setup in Vanuatu, then you're looking at some tax advantages there. So this is the fourth option. So these four options are good. What is the best option? It depends upon where you're coming from, where you're going, how much time you want to spend and stuff. I think all options are equally good depending upon your circumstances. But Paraguay is the low-hanging fruit. Once you plant this, or once you, let's say you place this in your portfolio, this is an option for life. And the direct permanent residency is also straightforward. Again, 2 days of your time for the residency card inside of Paraguay. And as I said, at any point you want to get started with any of these options, we have attorneys in all these different places. You can always click the link, book a call. We can discuss and get you started with the option of your choice. And if you haven't subscribed to this channel, make sure to turn on the bell notification and subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the latest changes or developments across programs. And if you like this video, give me a thumbs up, and catch you in the next one.